And tonight, I'm going to do my first Pecha Kucha. So, turn the notes over. Yeah, so introducing Maria Grau. And yeah, so I've been doing this for years. I usually sit in that chair driving the computer. Tonight I decided to come out of my little corner because I have a story to tell you about Liquid Alchemy, which is our new distillery crafting spirits here in Nelson. So since we started this adventure, everyone has been asking us the same difficult questions. Your first question is probably, how did you end up buying a distillery? Fritz and I are known for passion about beer, but really we mostly like making stuff. We make beer, we make food, and we were just learning to make spirits when our friends you're going to marry called to discuss an opportunity. And by opportunity, I mean someone died. None of us had known Barrett, but he's a bit of a legend even in Nelson. You might have seen his engineering through the window at the Anchor building in the Haven, but he also ran a commercial distillery from his residential Queenstown garage. But cancer happens, and we were in the right place at the right time to bring his distillery back to life in Nelson. The next question everyone asks is, what are you going to brew in our distillery? Kudos to us, I guess, for branding ourselves so thoroughly as beer experts. People don't even hear the word distillery. It must be like trying to read the word green written in red, get all mixed up and stuff. Yeah, no, it's a distillery for crafting spirits. Gin, rum, whiskey, and I can hear a question forming all around the room, and vodka? We bought a German copper still made by the oldest still makers in the world, designed for crafting amazing, complex spirits. I know, 42 Below made vodka sexy in New Zealand, but A, you might notice, we aren't 42 Below. And B, vodka is more about removing flavor. You can make really good vodka by buying neutral spirits, blending it with perfect water, et cetera, and people are doing that, but no. We fell in love with our wee 150-liter still as craft lovers. Just like with craft beer, there's such a thing as craft spirits. You don't see many in Nelson, really only a few in New Zealand, but there are little craft distilleries all around the world. Some use traditional methods to make things ranging from delicate fruit schnapps to wild-ass overproof rums. And more importantly for us, they're modern craft lovers inventing things like triple smoked whiskey and dry hop gin. And that's where this idea of liquid alchemy comes from. Historically, alchemy was the point where magic turned into science. So with distilling, even more than with brewing, we get to rot stuff and then transform it into something exciting, revolutionary. And we're better than Nelson to start New Zealand's craft spirit revolution. We have amazing ingredients, people here get craft, and support our tiny local producers. So this is the time, and this is the place. How hard could it be? I guess I should probably tell you now that we bought this dream last July, and a few harsh realities have intruded upon our happy little garage distillery dreams. Obstacle number one, death. If you're gonna buy a business from an estate, think long and hard. I'm not really superstitious, so I don't seriously blame bad omens for Fritz's mother and Jürgen's father dying within 2 months of bringing our distillery to Nelson. Death just happens. So between trips to San Diego and Germany, we began trying to get this thing off the ground. We went to the nice, helpful folks at the council's customer service to find out what was required for legally distilling in Nelson. And we got obstacle number 2. The building code says it doesn't matter how you meet the regulations, and yet it seems we were always wrong. So summer came and went, and as we climbed magical staircases that never ended, pumped a steady stream of cash into the local economy via consultants' pockets, and eventually, miraculously, we were granted permission to begin building a toilet. Woohoo! We're flying now. Sign the lease, bring in the plumbers, round up the electricians, it's all go. We'd even managed to find the best landlords on the planet who agreed to build the toilet for us and got right onto it. Except obstacle number 3, death again. How does this thing work? Did I mention that clever engineer who built this bespoke system had died? Once again, thanks be to Nelson, with our embarrassing riches of phenomenally talented people, apparently just waiting around to get hopeless businesses like ours off the ground. Because in typical Nelson style, we managed to recruit Alan the welder, Vernon Tom the electricians, Herman the plumber, all to our cause, and they're all highly skilled journeyman-type guys who engineered creative solutions well beyond our budget. I'm sure even Bernd would be impressed, but while all this takes time, there have been a few other bright spots amidst the delays and waiting. It's not like we're churning out plastic grommets here. We've been hard at work on product research and recipe development. Oh, the torture of distilling and tasting, blending and tasting, sniffing and tasting, discussing. Though who knew we would be reading up on increased ester production in REM distillates using propionibacterium. We've had quite a learning curve, both to understand the complexities of craft spirits and to devise our plan for revolution. Revolution might sound like destruction, but we're really finding it requires a lot of creativity. Our revolution isn't about destroying the competition. It's the grassroots stuff. It's about getting the masses on our side, demanding craft. Bombay Sapphire is nice, but what if you could add Manuka tips? Maker's Mark is lovely, but what if yours could use New Zealand grains? So how do we get Nelson and New Zealand and the world beyond as excited as we are about what we can craft here? What makes a label feel like craft? Does this bottle shape convey handmade? What mood is our website? All these little details need to be working toward that one big goal. For us, this is bigger than building a brand that sells. Did I mention we're not 42 below? But just imagine fearing that every right or wrong step may reflect on a whole revolution. We are taking this far too seriously, and luckily Nelson seemed keen on participating. Surprisingly, we're getting lots of volunteers for product testing. All we need now is some product. When I started this, we still hadn't gotten our site signed off, but last week we actually received our certificate. And this week we've received customs approval to begin distilling. So she might have been born breech and cesarean, but liquid alchemy is alive. Viva la revolution!